Hello there, Terry. This is Esther from Oxford Global. It's really nice to see you today and speak to you about your expertise and about the work that you are doing.
Great, thanks, Esther. It's really nice to meet you, and thank you for the invitation to share what we're doing at RINRI and a bit of my background and how I found myself here as well. Thanks.
Great, thank you. I think it would be very good to just start off this interview with essentially introducing yourself, and if you can also highlight some of the areas that you and your company are involved in and you are working on.
Yeah, of course. So, as you know, I'm Chief Technology Officer at RINRI Therapeutics, and we're developing novel first-in-class regenerative therapies, cell therapies for hearing loss. So my background, I'm a cell and developmental biologist by training. I started working with pluripotent stem cells back in the early 2000s, and then I moved into industry in 2009, and I've been pretty much working on advanced therapies, so cell and gene therapies since then, with over 7 years at Cell and Gene Therapy Catapult, which gave me a really broad understanding of the space, different therapeutic modalities, indications, underpinning technologies. And that's really what brought me to RINRI in the role I'm in now, to bring all of that experience to help progress these really needed therapies to the clinic. So my role as Chief Technology Officer is really covering sort of preclinical research and development, so pipeline, lead product, through to CMC and manufacturing and interfacing with the rest of the team as well.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us. You do have a very vast experience within the field. Could you talk a little bit about the company's journey from an academic process to a GMP process?
Yeah, sure. So I think just to set the context here, we're working within the field of hearing loss where there is huge unmet medical need. These patients have had medical devices for a long time, cochlear implants, hearing aids, which do make a real impact, but there are limitations to these. And we're specifically looking to address the unmet need of neural related hearing loss, so where there is a loss of the sensory neurons. And our product is a replacement cell therapy. So they are complex anyway in terms of development and manufacturing, but also in terms of administration to the inner ear as well, as makes it extra tricky. So when I joined RINRI almost 4 years ago now, really the company was starting out based on an amazing amount of work from Marcelo Revolta and the academic team up in Sheffield, where they had developed this process. It was an academic process. They'd made some changes towards GMP, but we still had a way to go to get there. So we needed to refine the process, make it more GMP compatible. And we also really needed to put a huge amount of effort into the clinical development side of things as well, and making sure we understood the patient populations and also the administration route and how that interacts with the CMC side of things and the manufacturing side of things. So there's been an awful lot of strands coming together over the last few years, which have brought us to where we are now, which is on the cusp of submitting for our clinical trial application early next year. So it's been a very busy, very exciting time. We've built the team up as well. So we have internal scientists. We still work very closely with the academic team. And we also have a clinical team now, which is fantastic to build that capability across the company. We've also taken the position of working very closely with a CDMO, with our GMP manufacturing site, and we started that quite early, and decided that rather than try and develop the process all by ourselves and just hand it over, we would do that as a co-development exercise, really, and that's worked incredibly well.
That's great. Well, and as you highlighted, it's extremely important to make sure that the process is as seamless as possible from kind of transitioning from preclinical to clinical. So what are some of the steps that your company is taking to ensure that there is this seamlessness of the transition process?
Yeah, I mean, we're a small company, which makes communication easier, but we are mostly remote as well. So we do have to make sure that the team does communicate really effectively, so that things don't get siloed. We make sure everyone understands as much as they can about the other aspects of the business, so that we can highlight where there are dependencies, we can highlight where there are implications of changes in one thing that might have an impact on the other. So, for example, for the surgical administration, if they decide, oh, we might want to change the volume of that has a huge impact on the manufacturing side of things. So we really need to make sure that really interfaces well together, and that's been really important. And to make sure we don't neglect. I think sometimes there is a temptation to focus on the here and now, especially in terms of manufacturing. You're trying to get the best process ever, and then there's maybe you don't think about what does it actually have to look like. So we really engage with surgeons and with expert ENT surgeons from the beginning to make sure that they understand our product, but we also understand what the limitations are in an operating theatre and how we have to present the product to them so that they can use it in the best way possible. So it's been very much an iterative process, and I think learning for all of us. If you haven't been in that environment before, it's very new for us. It's very new for the clinicians, especially for ENT surgeons who are very used to medical devices and some small molecules, but really not cell therapies at all. So it's been exciting and really a lot of fun building that team up and building that capability and understanding across the different areas of the business.
Indeed, very exciting. So what's next for the company then?
So obviously we're very focused on starting our first in human trial as soon and as safely as possible. And really that's the main push this year. So we're doing all of our GXP activities this year, our GMP manufacturing, our GLP tox, and really getting set up all the sort of GCP requirements so that we can actually run the trial. The clinical team are doing a huge amount of work with our selected sites of really getting everyone up to speed so that we can start the trial and sort of hit the ground running when we're ready to start that particular trial. We're also looking ahead, sort of planning for success, focusing on what do we need to do to commercialize this at the end of the day. It feels like a long way away now, but it comes quickly, and decisions we make now will have a huge impact. So really looking at scale up of that lead product and any refinements to manufacturing to make it more robust, more efficient, and just much more of a commercializable product. At the end of the day, we've done a lot of groundwork, but now we need to do some lab work to really demonstrate the scalability of this process. We do also have pipeline products as well, just to really, as I said, our lead product is for neuronal hearing loss, so where there's a loss of or damage to the auditory neurons. Obviously, a huge amount of hearing loss is due to loss of hair cells, so we're also looking to see how we can tackle that as well. And we have some early programs looking at that, looking at iPSCs rather than embryonic stem cells, and a couple of things in the pipeline. But there's a lot to keep us busy over the coming years.
But it's great to hear, and best of luck with all of these plans.
Thank you.
Terri, you will also be joining us in November for our annual Cell event. So what are you most looking forward to achieving at this event in November?
I think it's always a great opportunity to catch up with people and meet new people, obviously, but I think it's a really nice meeting. There's lots of exciting sessions and break times to really talk to people and understand what have they been doing, to learn from other people who are in a similar space or in fact even very different spaces. Obviously, I'm particularly interested in the sort of iPSC and stem cell therapy sessions, so I'm really excited to see what's being presented there. But also some of the advances in technology or regulatory understanding, I think are a really good thing to learn from these kind of meetings. You get such a broad range of people there from CMC analytics people all the way through to the regulators, and I think that really helps all of us in this development space to share the experiences that we can within the bounds of confidentiality, of course. But I think there's a lot we can learn from each other, and there's plenty of space for everyone to progress, I think, in this field.
Indeed, thank you so much, and we very much look forward to welcoming you to the event as well.
Thank you.
Great.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Terri. It was lovely to chat with you.